Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hey guys, what's up? How we doing? It's Friday. Did you know that? Are you aware that it's Friday? I guess you do. I think you do. I know I have a pretty smart audience out there. Can't really slip one by you like that. I would. I'd have to believe that you know the days of the week. However, when I think about what goes on here on Operation Status Quo, I'm not really sure what the mindset of the audience may be. I mean, I can't even really rely on my own personal mindset. How can I, kind of quantify what the mindset of the audience out there may be? But I know you guys are good. I love you guys out there. You know we like to have fun here on Operation Status Quo, and it's a place of love and joy and togetherness, a place of, just putting a smile on our face, taking the weight off our shoulders and just, going with the flow and realizing all the power we have within ourselves to create the beautiful life that we want to create. Isn't that a wonderful, empowering, thought process to have? I think so. And I hope that it works for you as well. Anyway, I am Pete Palma. I am your user-friendly host right here on Operation Status Quo. And of course, this is Operation Status Quo. And this is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. Yes. And, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, quite honestly. And we'll get right to it. Today is the 12th of January in the good year 2024. And today's program is indeed entitled The Power of You. That's right. The power of you, because you have all the power. Let me give you a round of applause for all the power you have within yourself to create the life you want to create. Yeah. Doesn't that feel good? Come on. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a virtual hug. Anyway, so I really just wanted to share this today, incident that happened yesterday. And this really, as I put in the description below, I thought would be a really great example of some of the messages that I try to share and how it's practical in a day-to-day life. Okay. So, of course, here we always talk about, realizing that we are spiritual beings having, the physical experience type thing, right? To realize that we are souls that have chosen our embodiment for lessons that we need to learn, to realize that we are creators in the world outside, and what happens around us is merely a reflection of the energies within ourselves, and everything that happens in our life, good, bad, whatever, for better, for worse, however you want to word it, really is all just part of purposeful interactions, purposeful lessons, what happens in our life that would seem to be traumatic events or glorious events, whatever, just milestone events, anything, even our normal day-to-day interactions with people and such. Everything is merely kind of like a reflection of like what's going on here and, what we're creating out there. And it's like an interplay, and it's not nothing to take personally. I really think that's the most important part of what I'd like to express today, in a sense of remembering that, what happens is not like for us, because us as egos, right? Thinking that we are these people that we think we are, we get our backs up a lot of times when things happen. So want to prove ourselves, want to explain ourselves, all this type of stuff. I've done episodes on talking about, you have nothing to prove, and you never have to explain yourself to other people. You always just have to, resonate with what's in your heart and do what's best for you and live in that flow, right? So as to not, fight against the current, so to speak. I mean, it works well for the salmon swimming upstream, but we don't have to make it so difficult on ourselves on a day-to-day basis, unless, for you to mate, you have to go upstream. If that works for you, you have to scratch and claw for that. Then maybe you want to put extra effort into it. It's not that important to me. But anyway, seriously. So this happened yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm scratching my arm. Isn't that crazy? Just little things that we do. You don't even think about it. I had a little itch on my arm. There we go. Let me just scratch my arm here. That's good. Okay. So this happened yesterday, and it got my back up a little bit, and I really had to work with myself on this, and I really want to share this story because, and it's a simple story, but it's nothing ground shaking or, something crazy happened or anything, but it's one of those type of things that when I talk about all the time, when something happens in our lives, how it's really, a trigger, especially something that really gets you emotional, whatever the case, whatever way emotional, but something that really gets you emotional, or, triggered, is really something that's either, unhealed trauma, as from your childhood. I'm sorry, excuse me. My goodness, I should have probably cleared my throat before I started. Can I clear my throat? Yep, I used to like that one. When I DJ'd weddings, I used to play that a lot. So anyway, and like things that happen in our lives merely kind of trigger us. And when you feel that trigger, like when you feel like an instant, wow, you're ready to really answer back or really say something or really, that's really the moment to go back and find that space that I always talk about of, going with your breath, whatever it is for you that keeps you in that space of calm, and finding and realizing and having that space of separation from you believing that you are, whoever you are, as opposed to realizing that you are a soul and you are the observer of the interactions and interplay of what's going on in the world around you, right? So when this happened yesterday, basically I got an email, and so I'm renting the house where I live, and they had sent an email. I'm not going to get into all this whole long story about it, but I mean basically an email stating that they wanted me to download this app so that I can take pictures around the house and show that everything is in good working order and such. Right now, mind you, just some months ago, I believe it was over the summer, back in June, I believe it was, they actually had an inspector that came out to the house and went through the whole house, checked all the appliances, checked everything, and took pictures, did the whole to-do. So, and I don't mind that, right? I mean, I understand I'm renting a property. This is a property management company. YouTube pops back on. Let's see. Oh, reconnection successful. And now it turned green again. And now it's flipping back and the YouTube is spinning. And there it is. There it is. I see myself again, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know if I got cut off for a little bit or not. But if not, you got to hear me do the play-by-play of looking for my OBS to reconnect to my YouTube. Heyo. So, okay, we're here anyway. Hopefully we didn't miss anything, but basically I was just talking about being mindful of not attaching to things that happen in our day, and for us not to be reactive and to, look at things as a learning lesson as opposed to getting agitated, angry, and trying to prove ourselves and explain something and be reactive and such. And I was saying, just in case, I don't know if I'm repeating myself and you heard this, I apologize, but the home property management company I work with, for that I rent my house through, excuse me, once wanted me to do some sort of, taking pictures, and they were going to send me a link to an app to download and blah, blah, blah. And like I said, back in June, they already came through the house and did a whole, inspection and took pictures and everything. So when I got this message yesterday, and I guess what made me agitated about it was I didn't realize that they had sent me something. They had sent me some sort of email with a link, for me to download this app, but it went to my junk mail, so I never saw it. And when this woman sent me an email yesterday, she said, we sent you multiple requests to do such and such. You have not done this, and this is what you have to do. How do you want to proceed? And, right away, I got so agitated, right? And I'll just explain, why I got agitated. I'll explain why I'm triggered, and then I'll explain how the, situation turned out. But, again, this exemplifies what we try to share here on Operation Status Quo about, observing life and keeping space and, making things work in your favor in a sense, not to get over on people, but like to work in harmony with what's going on in the world, right? So I got triggered. I was angry, first of all, because, not for anything. I'm a 50-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? I know how to take care of a property. I still own a property, in New Jersey, which I lived in for 10 years. I was raised, I cleaned my house. I don't know. I don't know what to say, and on top of it, I just felt that it was, just first of all, they already did something back in June, right? They were here and did a whole inspection. Now they got to do something once a year. I understand, come out and check everything. I get it. It's, it's they're overseeing the property, so I understand. But at the same time, we just did it. Are you guys aware that we just did this? And now you're sending me some link for an app to do something else and blah, blah, blah. And so I got agitated because, I felt to myself, I'm an adult, I pay my rent every month. You guys vetted me before I came here, and moved in. And if you don't trust me, to handle as an adult, to live and take care of the house that I'm living in, then don't rent, don't rent to me. So I just get I'm very big on, my privacy, my sovereignty, my freedom, and things like that. Just, I feel like, it's intrusive, and it really gets me upset because I'm saying, like, I don't need to be babysat. And on top of it, like, you guys are sending me a link to an app that I got to go through the effort of downloading your app and walking around the house and taking pictures or whatever you want to do. If you're curious about it, right, then come on over and take a look. Or how about like the property management, people give a call every couple months and say, oh, hey, Pete or Mr. Palma, whatever you want to say, like I was talking yesterday, right? Don't call me Pete if you don't know me. But no, they say, Mr. Palma, Pete, whatever you want to call me. I don't give a shit, but, just wanted to check in, how is everything okay with the house? Any issues you'd like to share? Is everything okay? How you been, nothing like that. Just these form emails that tell you what you have to do. It's like, and on top of it, this particular property management company, I feel like they're robbery anyway. They charge me an extra $49 a month, in my rent, so that I can use thank God, so I can utilize their portal, to pay my rent, right? So like I got to pay $49 a month so I can use their portal, to pay my rent. I mean, that's how you do your repair requests and stuff too through this portal. But either way, I've rented other places. Like, why can't I just give you a check every month? Why can't I'll come down into your office and hand you cash? How about that every month instead of me having to pay $49 to be in your portal? So, so all these things are coming up and I'm like fired up and I'm just thinking, how am I going to answer this woman? Don't you tell me, how to handle my property. I'm an adult and blah, blah, blah. And if you want to do it, and so I'm really, thinking all this and I'm trying to come like, boy, you're really triggered. I realize this really is triggering you. It's pissing you off. You're going to have to deal with this situation. So, that person had emailed me yesterday in the afternoon and I didn't respond until today because I really needed to give myself time to really contemplate this and think about how I was going to move forward, right? Based on everything we talk about here on Operation Status Quo about being responsible for your thoughts, being responsible for your actions, not taking things personally and such, right? And, on the personal side, just from my growing up, I'm just going to say it, my father, was basically, kind of emotionally and physically abusive, and he left when I was a young age. But, for those first like 5 years or whatever, I was, getting smacked around and crap. Right. So, and then the abandonment issue on top of it. It's like, so I'm just trying to say from a childhood, and I know this is going deep, but this is like where it comes from. And this is like all these little things that happen in life that we react to so much and get angry about and want to prove ourselves sometimes really come from this space of other stuff. So when I was laying in bed last night, I really started thinking about, I'm like, man, I'm really, what is it about this situation? And then it goes back. I started reflecting on, childhood trauma, like, okay, like, it's just the way I used to get pushed around, by my dad, I would feel like, okay, like these people are trying to tell me what to do, trying to push me around, right? I got to stand up for myself. I gotta fight, to protect myself. And it has nothing to do with anything because I started thinking about it. This woman's not, I'm going to piss Pete off today. Like, it's just part of her day. The property comes up on the list. She has to send an email to say, do this, whatever protocol they have. It's not personal, right? It's not personal. So, I kind of really reflected on it. And then today I sent an email back and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this in a totally different way. I've really learned this through my, government job, the one that I currently work where, you just kind of not really answer anything specifically. You just kind of say just enough, and so long story short on that, I emailed the person back and, now they didn't, right? When she emailed me yesterday, she didn't say anything like, oh, hello, how you doing? Just we sent you request. You didn't do this. How are you going to proceed? Just kind of like that. So, but I emailed back and I went, oh, hello, such and such. I said, hope you've been well. Happy New Year to you. Hello, we're human beings here. Can we communicate? And I said, I did miss the emails because they went into my junk, but I didn't get, I went back and looked after I saw her email. So obviously I found the emails in my junk, but I didn't, I didn't bring that part up. I just said, I'm not sure what requests you're speaking of. I said, did you send me something, because I didn't get anything. And I said, I'm not sure if you're aware, but an inspector was here just some months ago and came through the house, checked everything, took pictures. I said, right now, everything is fine. I check things regularly. I change my HVAC filter every month. I said, so, if anything pops up, I'll be sure to let you know. I really appreciate you reaching out. Thank you and have a great weekend. And then what happened? Then she winds up emailing me back. She goes, oh, okay. I do see that, it was done back in June and we will, I'll follow up with you in March because this has to be done once a year. And I got that email back and I was like, wow, because yesterday I had this all in my head of like, how am I going to, I got to explain myself. I got to tell them, blah, 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 I'm not doing it. Is it going to be a fight? Are they going to want to kick me out, because I'm not complying with their rules and such, and it's like all those thoughts were going, right? All those thoughts were going. And then I took that time to just, to take the breath, to take the space, to take my ego, myself out of it, and to realize that, okay, what's going on here? What's really going on here? Why am I so pissed off? I attribute it back to, the incidents that happened in my younger life that built that part of my personality that causes me to react in that way when those type of situations come to fruition. And I was able to kind of just take a step back and, approach it in a different hands-off type of way. And boom, what happened? Now they leave me alone till March. They leave me alone too much, and I'm not upset anymore. Because I did. Hey-o. I started thinking like, well, what do I got to do now? Do I got to, do I just, I don't want to fight anybody. I don't want to make a big argument. This isn't something to, take a whole big stance on and make a whole big, thing out of. So maybe I should just, comply. Then I'm like, I'm not complying. You know what I'm saying? And I just found another way around it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have to, fight that way. Like if something happens where you feel like, you're being pressured or, put in a situation that's not right, you don't have to, show all your cards, right? I didn't go to her and be like, listen, I'm an adult. You don't tell me if you got a problem, get the manager on the phone. I didn't do anything. I took the step back. I was kind to her, just explained, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then I was waiting to see, I sent the email that way to waiting to see if she was going to come back and say, oh, well, we have to do you, but I know that was done, but now you have to do this, and, I was going to just take it. Then if that happened, I would have taken, whatever the next step would have been to reply, so, but I was able to reply in that way and it all worked out. And again, this is the importance, I would say, and I'm being like, showing a little vulnerability. I don't really talk about, that kind of stuff as far as like, my family history and such, but, especially my dad and, it's bad juju, on that side of things. And, and I realize that the truth is, we have to be aware of all these things in our life, and then on the other side, just I'm talking about my family, my dad was that way and I really didn't associate with his side of the family and still don't. But, on my other side of the family, my mom and all those people, that side of my family, they were obviously very loving and still are, but they were also super overprotective and try to make everything perfect because they feel what happened with my dad and blah, 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 so it just mean like all these like things shape, our way of being. And my family on that side, like my mom's side of the family, they're more of like, feeling if something happens, you got to take care of it right away. You got to ask a million questions. You got to, they just divulge like every last secret they have, instead of like playing your cards a little, closer to the vest a little bit, and I'm trying, I've, it's been a lot of work through my life to learn that. I've gone back and forth multiple times with being reactive and having to prove my point. And, somebody's going to try to, shove me down, because of that, what the trauma I went through childhood, right away, kind of just, it puts this volcano inside of me to just want to erupt and explode and be like, no one's pushing me around. No one's keeping me down. Nobody's telling me what to do because it was so over the top with the way my dad did things to me. But, this is the point I'm trying to make. This is a simple story. But what I'm saying is like this could have, in a different way, if I was in a different mindset at a different time in my life, it would have been a whole nother thing. This simple email of her, saying this is what you have to do, and me feeling that, no, I don't have to do this because we just did it. And, I don't understand why you're being intrusive on my personal life and my privacy when I pay my rent every month, instead of me getting all my back up about it and attacking, I, was able to, it took me some time. That's why I didn't respond. I thought about responding a couple times yesterday. I had a couple things I was going to say. And then I said, no, let's just wait. No matter what, wait till tomorrow, sleep it off. And it was good because, when I went, like I say, when I laid in bed, I really contemplated on it and I got this peace and I realized, before I went to sleep, it came to me of how I was going to approach it today. And that's exactly how I did approach it today. And it worked out. So, the point I'm making today, the power of you, ladies and gentlemen, that is the power of you. The power of you is you have all the power. There's nothing out there controlling anything in your life. You have the power to decide how you're going to move forward with situations, even when it looks like it's bad, even when it looks like, someone is trying to get over on you or whatever, whatever it is, like, whatever triggers you, whatever comes into your day to day that makes you feel uneasy. You have to realize that that uneasy feeling is a message for you to recognize something. And I was able to, recognize, where the trigger was really coming from and not take it personal and take myself out of it and proceed in a way that was beneficial to both parties. So, this is what we talk about here on Operation Status Quo and the way our world is today and what's going on out there. It seems that we are, at the means of whatever powers that be that are coming after us, but we're not, and we have the power to work within, to present ourselves in a certain way, to respond in certain ways or not respond if that is what the situation warrants. But, we have the power to do that and to choose the direction of how things are going to go. If you think that way and you take yourself out of it and don't get so emotionally wrapped into it, you can guide like where it goes, right? As opposed to letting, just reactive emotions get crazy. Because if I would have went back and attacked them and said all blah, 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 they would have came back and tried to defend themselves, right? Because, this is how people are. This is human nature, human behavior. So if you can see things from a higher perspective and realize this stuff, like you already know if you're dealing with a certain type of person, like that's what I'm saying. Like if these people are sending me an email like this, I already know what I'm dealing with. So I'm not going to be able to get them to understand, what I'm thinking. They're not going to say, oh yeah, Pete, that sounds good. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. We'll just, if I push on them, they're going to push back, right? So if I come in a way of peace and say things in a certain way, then, it flows in a different way. And we all have the power to do that. And I encourage everyone out there, to be mindful when things happen in our day-to-day lives, not to jump, not to feel like, well, you got to do something right away. Especially if something really triggers you, right? Just take that moment to be, whoa, I'm worked up here. Let me really process this. Let me really think about what this is, what level of response is necessary for this type of situation or whatever's going on. And then you process, you take yourself out of it, the ego self out of it. You're the observer. You see the big picture. You proceed in a way, again, that's beneficial especially for yourself, more importantly. But, for everybody, it's a good thing too. But, you want your life to be happy, don't you? So anyway, I just wanted to share that today because it was just one of those things. And I was thinking about it yesterday when it happened. I'm going to go on my show tomorrow and I'm going to talk about these people and rah, 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 right? I could have done a whole show today talking about like how intrusive they are, how dare they this, and what's wrong with our business world today, and I'm a responsible adult, and I don't need you to tell me how to do my business and blah, 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 right? It could have been all like that. But instead, I was able to, kind of shift it over to a place of peace and use it as an example to hopefully send some, encouraging messages out there to you to do the same when situations such as this or others arise in your life. So anyway, that's what I have for you here today on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I thank you for your time and attention and just being here with me because I love you out there. I love each each and every one of you, individually as well as a group. God bless you, as always. And, you have a great weekend out there, ladies and gentlemen. And until tomorrow, not till tomorrow, until Monday, because it's the weekend, right? Until Monday, I'm going to say it again. Until Monday, it's a long weekend, by the way. If you're off for Martin Luther King Day, that's great. So enjoy your long weekend. But I'll be back here on Monday for you guys because I love you out there. And until then, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.